And because it's a part of how we develop from childhood moving forward, we create a system of living around that. We create an identity around our self-esteem. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast, where we center the stories of Black women as we heal from the painful relationships with our mothers. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Arnice. Welcome back, y'all. We here. I hope you are doing well. I hope that at the time that you are listening to this, that it is coming right on time. I hope that you are being good to yourself and congratulating yourself and meeting yourself with curiosity and kindness. I hope that you are taking it easy on yourself. And if you're not, apologize to her and tell her, girl, I don't know why I'm acting like this. I'm sorry. I know you doing your best. I'm learning how to take care of you. I love you, girl. You are doing a good job. Clap. Please, everybody, let's just take a second and let's clap. Let's clap for ourselves. Clap for yourself. Damn it. Right now. Okay? Clap. I don't know if you can, if you're on the YouTube, you can see it. I'm trying not to clap too loud so it doesn't make a crazy sound in the microphone. It has been eventful over here. By the time this episode comes out, I will be, okay, so let me do some math over here. This is this week. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if I'll be in Puerto Rico or I'll be back from Puerto Rico. But I know as of taping this, I'm going to Puerto Rico on Sunday. And I'm very excited. This is my second trip of the year. My first trip was to Greensboro. It wasn't far, but it was still a trip. It still counts. It was still an experience. And I've got a vlog coming out about that too. That should be up. By the time this comes up, go watch that vlog about my time when I went to my good friend, my childhood friend, her 50th birthday celebration in Greensboro. Baby, I don't think I could have had a better time if I was in Jamaica, Cancun, anywhere else, because the women was womening. Okay. There were 15 of us and it was a time. You hear me? It was a time. I had a freaking blast with those ladies. Okay. So, and I did record a vlog. It's late coming up, but it should be up by the time y'all see this. But I'm also going to Puerto Rico with another one of my homegirls for 4 days, just a little pop in, pop out. And I'm very excited. One of my goals is to travel more this year, to get out. This is, Vincent is 17. And this is like the first time over the last couple of years where I could I'm not even gonna say the last couple of years. I'm going to say this year and last year where I really am like, I can leave him overnight. Right now, I could probably leave Vincent for weeks on end and he will be fine. If he had money, right? If he had his own money, my child could have his own apartment. He could be living somewhere. He know how to do all the things except pay bills. But if I show him, he'll pick up on it and he'll be good to go. He knows when to put the trash out, turn the lights out, turn the heat down when it needs to be turned down. He knows to make sure the door is locked. He knows how to go grocery shopping, how to get the groceries delivered. He just can't drive yet. He can drive. He would be pissed if I said that. He just doesn't have his own car or his license yet, which is coming. We just need to take a driving test, child. Lord have mercy. That damn driving test. 3-point turn and parallel parking. Oh my God. Anybody, I know I've talked to y'all about this driving. in the past. Anybody want to come here and teach him how to pass the driving test? Please send me an email so y'all can come and get y'all nephew together with that, so this boy can get his damn car. He is going on a job interview next week. He has been screaming about a job because he wants his car. So I think where's he going? Wingstop. I was like, boy, you going to be coming up in here smelling like hot, dirty grease and bringing wings home. When he worked at Sprout, that was somewhere healthy. But before that, he worked at Cammy Cake. So he was always bringing cupcakes home. Like, I need you to work somewhere where you can bring something healthy into this house. I don't need a bunch of all flat, fried, hard, lemon pepper wings tossed in teriyaki every other day. Because I'm going to eat them. I don't have that type of discipline. I'm going to eat them. I'm going to keep some ranch and some blue cheese, and bones going to come back dry. So I need him to work at a farmer's market somewhere. So that's what we have going on around here. But yeah, I'm very excited to go to Puerto Rico for a few days and get my year started. I have a whole list of places I want to go this year. And I realize the things that I want, I talked about this the other week, they're going to require a new version of me. So it's like, oh, you want that? Oh, guess what you're going to have to give, ma'am. So your girl is being stretched out of her comfort zone in some real ways, but I'm attaching the end result to whatever that thing is that's stretching me. And it's not pushing me from behind. It's pulling me. It's pulling me from in front. It's pulling me. And I love it. I love it, girl. But anywho, today, again, that's not what we're talking about today. But you know what? Can those all tie in? I think they do, because what I have been able to achieve, right, is not because of some type of externalness. My being able to buy my house, being able to travel, being able to build a business around Black mother wound. Y'all know I'm a late bloomer. I am not the run of the mill, like overachiever, right? My success has not been born out of my trauma, like trying to prove my worthiness. Proving my worthiness had me broke. So my ability to change my life has been because I've been able to reshape how I perceive myself. For me, that is what has happened. I have been able to reimagine who I am. And if you are someone who is externally successful and it looks like you have all the things, but you're not happy, right? And you're being led by your trauma in your mother wound, you also have the opportunity to reimagine yourself, to have the life you really want, but have it on your own terms. And for the rest of us late bloomers, it is your time. It is time to reimagine who you see yourself as. And I talk about my life and the things I'm doing. And that's hard for me, child, because, I was taught to believe that it's bragging. And when I see other people do it, I don't feel like they're bragging, they're sharing. But I was taught like, I'm going to make people feel bad if I share good things that are happening in my life, or I'm going to jinx it. I'm so glad I'm being healed from that. Okay. That means in the process, but I'm sharing because if you've been listening, we're up on like episode 50. Can we take a second? We are like episode 50. For a girl who was scatterbrained and don't like to repeat and do shit over and over again and consistency sucked, we are at the 50 mark with over 100,000 downloads. We had 100,000 downloads back in like November or December. That's me, you, us. our community, we did this. We have proof that there is a need for this work. There's a space for this work, that it is valuable. And that's because you all show up too. So let me say thank you for that. Okay. Ooh, child, don't let me get emotional today. I feel like crying because I have on mascara and eyeliner. And that's unheard of since like pre-COVID days. But I talk about my life and let you all in. And that's really also why I vlog too, because I want you to see what can happen when you heal. Because I'm a firm believer, and I have said this before, if your life is not changing, are you healing? It doesn't have to change in the biggest ways in the beginning, but to see your life develop and grow and evolve and change is a part of your healing journey. It's the evidence. It's how your external world mimics your internal world. And that can only happen when you re-perceive who you are. So what we're going to talk about today is self-esteem. And I looked up the definition of self-esteem, and it says self-esteem is how we value and perceive ourselves. It's based on our opinions and beliefs about ourselves, which can be difficult to change. Real heavy on the it can be difficult to change. I'm emphasizing the hard to change part because we had someone really nail into us who we were. Our mother wound is based on a lack of autonomy. Us believing that we're not powerful, that we don't own who we are, that we don't have agency, that we don't have power. And it's a lie. It's a bold-faced fucking lie. But we were told that and shown that by someone who didn't believe they had power. And we believed our mother. Like, why wouldn't we believe her? She is our everything. She is the rooter to the tutor. And most times we didn't have someone else telling us something to the opposite in the consistent way that she showed us and told us that we were powerless, that we lacked value in areas, that we were at fault, all these types of things. So our self-esteem is built through our development from birth moving up. So when you have someone who perceives you as a problem, they perceive you as not being smart. They perceive you as being too loud, as vain, as fast, as clumsy, as ugly, as dumb, as so many things. I hate to even say this shit because it made me want to slap somebody. Ugh. It's hard to imagine that it's not true. And because it's a part of how we develop from childhood moving forward, we create a system of living around that. We create an identity around our self-esteem, how we perceive ourselves and how we value ourselves. So your mother's perception of you created your sense of identity and self-esteem. Self-identity and self-esteem. Her perception of you. It is not true. I just need to put some silence around that. What she thinks about you. And it's very easy to be on the outside looking in because I got my own inside to say it's not personal. I know it feels hella personal. Oh, it feels so, I can feel like the heat up in my chest rising up and the water coming up behind my eyes because this shit's so fucking personal. You know what I'm saying? It's but then why would you do that shit? Why would you say it? You know what I mean? I wish I had better answers. Those aren't the questions we have to ask though. Just let it sink in. It's not true. The things she thinks about you, the things she says about you, the way she's made you believe about, yourself, it's not true. It's a perception and it's a programming. I want you to look at your mind like a computer, and a computer can be reprogrammed. That's what healing is, a reprogramming. It's like you have a malware in your system, and healing goes in and cleans out that malware and puts the right programming in. That's why you hear. You already know this. So, but I know it's hard. That's the hard part about, it's like, why would she do that to me? And it's based off of who she saw she was, who she believed she was. And that's the only thing she could see of you. It is. Okay. Y'all know I can go off on a tangent on that, but I'm not going to do that because we're going to stay on target. Okay. But her perspective became a fact in your life and you didn't question it. So then you created an inaccurate premise from the beginning. My mother was a sociology major and she used to say, like, you have a faulty premise. And the premise is the statement that you start with. And everything else after that premise, it all has to lead back to the premise. So if you have a faulty premise, and it's so funny, like she taught me these things, and anyway, if you start with a faulty premise, you can never have an accurate conclusion. And the discomfort that you feel in your life, in your body, the pain that you feel in your life and in your body is the evidence of a faulty premise that you believe to be a fact. So that's how you know the premise is faulty, because of how it makes you feel. If it was an accurate premise with math and it would make sense, and you would be like, oh, this is true and this adds up and that adds up, there would be nothing counter to it. There would be nothing going against it because it would be an accurate premise, right? So look at it from that perspective, right? It's a faulty premise. And so my job is to help you reposition so you can come up with an accurate premise of who you are, which is you are someone who you are worthy of love. That's the basic premise. You are worthy of love without doing anything, without achieving anything, without having to prove anything, without having to work for anything. That's the basic. And then the rest of it are going to be the specific that you're going to have to build on. But if you have a good starting premise, you're going to get there. Okay. And it's difficult to question what is, but if you're listening to this or watching this, you're already questioning. So the questioning lets you know that there's a spark in there and you're on the right path. So I want you to stay the course with that. Okay. When you have a faulty self-esteem, when you have a low self-esteem, it really is an identity crisis because you are not being yourself. You are portraying who someone else perceives you to be based off of your own value. And that's not who you are. So actually, a mother wound creates an identity crisis in you. And you are not being your authentic self. You're being your conditioned self. And in order to have autonomy, you have to be able to be authentic. So in order to have autonomy, you have a healthy self-esteem. It's not bragging. A healthy self-esteem is not your accolades and what you have to work to do. It's like your resting heart rate. Look at it like that. It is what keeps everything flowing in unison so that you can stay alive. And not the physically alive, but so you can stay emotionally and mentally alive. Because many of us, mentally and emotionally, we are connected by the umbilical cord to our mothers. Even if we know contact, even if she has passed on from this plane, if you have not established a healthy self-esteem, then you don't have an emotional and mental heart rate of your own. You are going by the beat of somebody else's heart, the beat of somebody else's drum, and that's your mother. And it's scary to come out of it because, you hear, but really you're just surviving. So what can you do? How do you change that? And one of the questions that I ask my students in Resolve is, who did your mother teach you to be? because you think that's who you really are. But if you can reframe it and who she taught you to be, then you know when it comes to your inner little girl, who do you now want to allow her to be? What are you going to free her from? Because when you don't have an authentic identity and you're living in a conditioned identity, you cannot accurately see the world. You cannot accurately see opportunities. You cannot accurately see people. You have a faulty premise. When you have that faulty premise self-esteem, baby, everything else is off. And you're thinking it's everybody else. It's not. You are the common denominator. Your self-esteem is the common denominator. When you say, well, everybody treats me like this, I'm good to people and they good, they bad to me, I can't trust nobody. That's your self-esteem. It has muddied your view of the world because of how you perceive yourself. But you think because you're doing the right things, it's a performance, but how you see yourself is off. This goes back to your compass being off. But if you're here, then guess what? You already know something has to give. And the things that you are denying about who you really are, they keep popping up. They will not go away. I remember being like, I'm going to squash this sense of creativity I have, this sense of adventure, this needing to be my own boss, this so many things about me. I was like, I'm just gonna, because that's the reason that I jump from job to job and I can't pay my bills and me and my son were homeless because of this and that. No, I was those things because of my self-esteem. My low self-esteem, my inaccurate view of myself had me making choices based off of a faulty premise. But the more I leaned into who I was and trusted myself, because I was building a healthy relationship with myself, my self-esteem was able to rebound, because you're born with a healthy self-esteem. Your self-esteem is who you naturally are. This is not who you have to become, which is a great thing. It's like, oh, who I really am. And it's not about good or bad or what you like. It's just how you can perceive yourself and the things about yourself. I was perceiving things about me as being a problem because I felt like I was a problem. But that really wasn't the case. That's really where my gifts were. That's really where my success was. But I had to get curious about those things. The challenging work begins because you have to let go of an old identity if you want to create a healthy self-esteem. You have to let go of the old you. Even though you know that, she's tired. She is worn the hell out. But she's also all that you know. And any success or comfort or community or support you've had is through her. And you're like, well, hell, what am I going to have when I let go of that? Who will I have? And there is so much world waiting for you. There are so many people waiting to love you, care for you. There's so many opportunities out there. Again, that's why I share my life, so you can understand I'm no different. What's happening in my life and what is going to continue to happen, it's no different than what can happen for you at all. But you're gonna have to release the old way in order to get to the new way. So the math can math. Don't spend another year coming to your calculator being off, because that little decimal point in the wrong, just the numbers can be right, but that decimal point being in the wrong place will have you all jacked up. And it needs to be right so it can all add up, because the world, God, the universe, whatever you believe in has something for you. And your math gotta fit that math. And when those two maths fit, baby, they can cancel Christmas. Nothing can stop you. But the math gotta math, okay? And in order to do this, like, I feel like what I'm about to tell you is what I tell y'all every week, but I'm just giving you another reason to do it. And if I haven't said it this way, I'm saying it this way now, so you don't misunderstand me. You're going to have to pay attention to your life. And I know I've said this, building a healthy relationship with yourself. And this is why healing means action. It requires action. You paying attention, you getting curious, you being interested about the things that you have blocked, that you've put to the side, that others have deemed as unacceptable. Ain't nobody said, Jennifer, oh yeah, we wholeheartedly think that you should get on the internet and social media and talk about toxic relationships between Black women and their mothers. Great idea. Hell no. So if you're scared, I really can't even support you in being scared. I hear you, but it's nothing I can't even support you in it, because, I jumped out the pot and into the fire, and now I live in the fire. And it's toasty. I love it here. You know what I mean? Because I'm cooking. I'm feeding myself and my family from the heat, from the flames. And it's not random. It's not because of me or this thing specifically that I'm doing. It works the same way in your life. But you have to get curious. You have to relinquish the critical thinking. And that comes with the more time you spend with your inner child, and the more you talk to her and you triggered when things come up that you're asking her, hey, what is that about? Oh, when you're out somewhere and you get a spark of inspiration, and then, but you're like, I never liked wine. I never liked dancing. I never liked this. Where's that coming from? I'm too old to do that. I've never moved out of my city. I can't do that. But something is pulling you. You see something online, you hear something like, ooh, you feel something in your bone. Like you feel, it feels tingly. You got butterflies. What is that about? Start there and end there. That part, it never ends. You cannot heal without changing this. This is a level of your autonomy, your self-esteem, creating the self-esteem. It is a level of autonomy. And you have to get this in order to get those other parts of autonomy that I'm going to be talking about in the coming weeks. You have to. There's no way around it. We talked about creating safety. We talked about your feelings and emotions. And now we're talking about your self-esteem. These are levels of autonomy, and there's an order to them. You can't jump around and say, well, I'm going to do this one later. I'm going to go here. No, we're at the third level of autonomy right now, and it's self-esteem, because that's where your power is. The value that you see that you have as a person. And not because of what you do or what you have or what you can give or provide to people or how good other people think you are. I feel like I'm starting to beat y'all over the head with a broom with this situation, but it's only because it's so important. Get curious, get playful, pay a fucking attention to your life. In a way, it's simple, but I know it's something that you have been taught not to do. And you've been taught to pay attention to how other people think you should be and what they see and what they say about your life. And you looking at what everybody else is doing. Pay attention to your life. Get curious about your own life. And I guarantee just with that simple shift in your attention, you're going to start to see changes. And don't come in my inbox talking about, well, what about if people don't like you? If this people got upset about it and it's going to do. I don't give a damn. And you know it. You can't do both. You can only row one boat and they can only row one boat. So you're going to have to make a choice. Okay. I love you dearly. I will see you all next week. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this episode. If you are listening to the episode, please give it 5 stars and leave your girl a review. I appreciate you all. We are in this all together. every day, all day, to the end, till the wheels fall off. I'll see you next week. Bye.